All right, we're live apparently. I didn't get a 3, 2, 1 or anything. Anyway, hello there, everyone. Welcome to Let Them Eat Kek for December of 2019, as well as the Kekkie Awards. Bit of fun. Yes, the show where Mike Stutchbury, Cognitive Society, and because she was here last year and she's American and hosting, don't ask, YouTube shit. Christy Winters as well. So hello there, Mike. How are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, not bad.
Good.
Ignoring everything that that's bad and horrible in the world, except for this.
Well, are you suggesting we were part of the bad and horrible, but you're not ignoring this bit, or that we're not?
No. Let Them Eat Kek has been a light in the darkness. But
yes. Well, that's very nice. Yes. So, hello, Cognitive Society, and you're in Germany as well with Krista.
I am indeed. I'm out visiting, doing a little project. There's a National Socialist Museum not far from where Christy lives, so I'm doing some of my work while I'm out here. It's been really great.
Now, when you say you're doing a project with the National Socialists...
I mean, I am a history student and a master's history student studying the Nazis, and specifically my area is Nazi Germany, and that's what I specialise in, and the projects I have to go and do research on an exhibit. But anyway, people don't want to hear about that.
When you're in a Nazi hole, keep digging, Carl. It's good.
Yes.
It's good.
I mean...
And our triumvirate of not Germans in Germany is Dr. Christy Winters.
Hello! I am so ready for it to be 2020.
Yes.
I'm ready to be in like the last year before Trump is no longer president. Yes. Just get this year behind us.
Technically, that's not true, because even if he loses, he still will be at the start
until
of
January
2021.
But we'll have someone for the future.
Yeah, cool.
I'm kind of blown away by the fact that for some people it is already 2020. Sorry, it threw me in the chat.
Yeah, some people are in ridiculously incorrect time zones. I mean, all three of you are in slightly incorrect time zones, but lots of people are in very, very incorrect.
God's own time zone. Shut the fuck up.
Like they're not even trying to be in the correct time zone. It's embarrassing. You've let yourselves down. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you've got three people in Germany. I feel like, because I watched a bit of ski jumping from the deliciously Germanically named Garmisch-Partenkirchen, which is amazing. I feel like I osmosed some Germanness from it being that German. So
it's actually a really nice place, even though it's a horribly overexposed winter resort. I highly advise you to visit there one day.
Maybe I will, just so I can say I've been there. Yeah. Yes, so anyway, on with the show. We're going to be sort of rushing through December in a way that we wouldn't with other months, mainly because there wasn't actually that much happened, because Christmas happens and stuff, so like politics sort of stops to a large degree. And because we don't want the show to overrun with the Kekkies and stuff. So anyway, there was a general election in Britain, and it didn't go well. Let's just put it that way. The Tories won. So, Mike, what is it about the horrifically racist, sexist piece of garbage Boris Johnson that's meant that the likes of Britain First and Katie Hopkins and Tommy Robinson want to join the Conservative Party now?
Well, he's been given a pass for the last God knows how many years, and then now that he's been elected with a ridiculous majority, everybody feels like he's the winning horse. Well, he is the winning horse, and that they can say what they like, and there will be no repercussions. And it does kind of feel like that in many ways. That people feel like there's free reign now. Any number of reports of racial harassment in the streets of even places like London. It's disgraceful. It's horrific.
Yeah, not good. And like we say, there have been various groups like Britain First who have urged their supporters to join the Conservative Party. Although the media didn't cover themselves in glory by saying it was 5,000, because they've never had 5,000 people.
No.
So they're bigging them
never take anything that Britain First say seriously. Yeah, no.
They're 24. Yeah, their 24 supporters are probably going to try and join the Conservative Party. And unsurprisingly, various of them have been rejected, because even the Tories don't want that level of cancer.
Well, Tommy Robinson claimed that he'd joined and posted a membership card, but it was just a Photoshop of a membership card that he'd posted years and years ago when last time he got kicked out.
Tommy Robinson, a bullshitter, fabricating stuff. I don't believe it, Mike.
Neither do I. Yes.
No. So anyway, Cog, as we both have to live in this shithole full of horrible people,
I know.
How do you feel about the election result?
How do I feel about the election result? I'm strangely optimistic, actually. I know that's a bizarre take on it, but I feel like there's a lot of scope for going over strategy and reworking our strategy. And if things go well, it could be a real shake-up moment for the left in the UK. However, I can see, and I am holding back a tide of depression over how far right our country has swung. Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but just the phrase "tide of depression" is slightly amusing. It's horrific, though.
If you want to capture what being a young person, a student in 2019 is like, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what you want to. That's how you want to describe it. It was particularly well captured for me by Baroness Varzi tweeting that now that Johnson has won the election, he needed to get rid of the Islamophobes in the party and to have an inquiry into Islamophobia. And then Katie Hopkins retweeted that and said, "I think you mean our party." Baroness Varzi had called it the Conservative Party her party, and Katie Hopkins said, "I think you mean our party," and that was kind of the moment that encapsulated just how far right they'd swung for me.
Yeah, depressingly so. I mean, they promised a inquiry into Islamophobia in the Tory party, and the person they've chosen to head it, whose name escapes me off the top of my head, I will look it up in a second, literally wrote an article saying that the word Islamophobia was made up in order to try and silence criticism of Islam.
Mm.
So I don't think that's going to be an entirely worthwhile exercise, if I'm honest. Anyway, so it's all phenomenally depressing. Are there any rays of light, though? Seriously, guys, fucking throw me a bone here.
I mean, in terms of like rays of light that are on the ground, there's not a lot. Farage didn't get any seats, which is something.
That is positive. Yes, that is true.
And we know from before the election that he was planning to get seats, and he's fallen out with people like Annunziata Rees-Mogg over the fact that he didn't get any seats because he was expecting before the election to have a sort of the power of accountability over the Conservatives in their parliament, a bit like the DUP had, and he's just utterly failed in that respect.
True, and he hasn't even gotten his knighthood yet. Although I suspect he will be in the next honours list. It's probably a little bit too obvious to do it first time up, I imagine. What? Who's whispering? Stop whispering.
Sorry, Cog kept clicking the pen I gave him.
I'm clicking a pen. it's annoying, Christy. Sorry. I think that Boris Johnson will happily sell these people out, which is one kind of little ray of light, I think, as well.
Yeah, because in order to get his deal, actually to get a free trade deal by anywhere like the end of next year, he'll have to essentially do what the Labour Party's policy was going to be, which was offer a continuation of the customs union, which will be a total sellout of the UKIP / Brexit Party position, which they shouldn't. I mean, they should know from the DUP and how he treated them. He will sell out anyone to get what he wants.
Yeah.
Well, this is the most dishonest piece of shit ever, and that's by British politician standards, which is not enormously trustworthy. But anyway, so that's really fucking depressing. But I suppose sort of connected in a way is the uptick in, as Mike mentioned, the racial incidents here in Britain. One of which was linked to our next story, which was the anti-Semitic racist attack on a rabbi's home in Monsey, New York, where a man who's a black Hitlerite. That's not a comedy character I've invented. That's literally what that person is. went into a rabbi's home and stabbed 5 people. Thankfully, I believe none of them are currently dead. But we also had some racist attacks here in London as well. But yes, so how do we feel about the reaction to the attacks in Monza? From, say, like the media perspective? Because, I mean, obviously we're all against the actual attacks, but do we think it's been reasonably dealt with or not?
I don't quite know how to feel about it, because I mean, the guy who was done for it, the guy who's been arrested for it, the attack on the rabbi's place, has a long history of mental illness, and while they're pursuing they've reported that the police are pursuing hate crime charges against the guy, but at the same time, his family are insisting that he's never had any sort of expressed any kind of race or faith-based hatred. It just it doesn't see. It seems like it's sort of amping it up to me in a way that I don't think is helpful to anybody.
Yeah.
Can you see what I'm saying there? Obviously,
yeah, I think I know what you're saying, but
yeah.
Play devil's advocate for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
When, say, a white racist goes into like a synagogue or a mosque, and they have similar mental health issues and things, and they do something, we're less straightforward in terms of coming out and saying, "Oh, it's a mental illness thing." We're more likely to focus on the fact that it was like a racial hatred thing.
I think terrorism. I think hate-based terrorism and mental illness have a huge overlap in that particular Venn diagram. It's very sort of hard to unpack, but obviously. There are anybody who does go out and attacks anybody based on their religion is committing, a sort of a form of terrorism. But it's a really tough one. I think that the reporting over these kind of things needs to be a lot better. I think that, as with many of these kind of incidents, there needs to be some holding back until we know the whole story.
Indeed, yes. And if Christy, if you can just lock on my screen for just a second. Yeah. I'm now screen sharing. These are images from London this week, or technically was it last week or this? Anyway, whatever. The days blend into one over Christmas. A number of these anti-Semitic scrawlings were found on largely Jewish-owned businesses and synagogues in London. You can see there it's the Star of David with 9/11. Now, there is some conjecture here as to what quite those numbers mean. Because obviously there's the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about the Jews did 9/11, which obviously isn't fucking true. But also it might be a reference to Kristallnacht, which, for those who don't know, was the essentially anti-Jewish pogrom under the Nazis, where Jewish homes and businesses were destroyed in a night of just absolutely horrific rampage against Jewish people, which happened on the 9th of November, which, by the way, for Americans, we do the months and the days the other way around. So 9/11, the terrorist attack in America would have been 11/9. Yeah, the dates are reversed. Anyway, so it's possibly one, or I suppose possibly both of those things. And clearly it's anti-Semitic fucking garbage. And as you can see, it wasn't one incident here. This is several businesses specifically targeted for anti-Semitic abuse. And this is the kind of shit we've now got in Britain. This doesn't seem that out of the ordinary anymore.
It's interesting to me in that it seems to be reflecting a tactic of the right, in that, there are conspiracy theories surrounding, the fact that, the Jews were instrumental in 9/11 or something like that. There's all these bullshit stories about various trading companies who are largely Jewish being told not to go to work on that day. But I'm not buying that. I just don't think that there's not that sort of upswing in those kind of conspiracy theories. Rather, they're sort of dying down, whereas sort of having a sort of coded nod towards Kristallnacht is far more likely. And I mean, it's the thing with, it's okay to be white trending today. It's something where they have plausible deniability, where they can get you to sort of argue over it. So I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be something that is meant to be debated and something that is meant to frustrate those opposing it into where it's coming from. I mean, it's exactly the kind of thing that those sort of people who like arguing over, Labor's anti-Semitism problem or something like that would sort of pick up and run with. Do you see what I'm saying here? It's
I
divide.
Yeah, I do, and it's actually, I think that's interesting that you mentioned the Labour anti-Semitism thing, because whilst we don't on this show for a second downplay actual anti-Semitism in any political party, whilst the British media were feigning faux outrage at perceived anti-Semitism in the Labour Party, this kind of shit has gone unchecked for years and years by those very same people, showing that their outrage was fake as fuck. Basically, they stopped pretending to care about anti-Semitism the second the election was over. It was entirely politically motivated, biased bullshit, and that's disgusting because it's counterproductive in the sense that it focuses people at the wrong target for a start, and B, it means that actual anti-Semites can fly under the radar because people aren't looking. It's well, frankly, it's fucking disgusting. But we'll wait and see. But the importance of the attack in Monza isn't just that it was an individual instance, because there were anti-Jewish attacks across America all throughout the last few weeks, actually. Whether specifically designed to be a part of a thing or just random instances, who knows? But there was various instances of graffiti, similarly to the ones in London. So whether there's an internet campaign or what, who knows? Various Jewish people have been attacked. One Jewish pensioner was kicked and spat at in the street in New York. I mean, it's just horrific, absolutely horrific. And certainly I think I can speak for everyone on the show when I say that we stand with the Jewish communities across the world in fighting this fucking evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, yes... Well, I mean, in 2020 going forward, how do we go about trying to fight this? I'm not asking for like absolute definitive answers here, but what steps do we think can be taken to stop this?
Fist to the nose.
Sorry, Mike. What did you say?
Fist to the nose.
To the nose. Oh, yes.
In Minecraft, of course, because the YouTube terms of service, and this is on someone else's channel. But yeah,
okay. Yes. Absolutely not decking them in the streets.
No, don't do that. That would be terrible. That would be an awful thing to do. Definitely don't do that.
Keep retweeting the tweet which Mike put out about a week or so ago that said that it was in one of the concentration camps. I'm sorry, Mike, I can't remember which one. One of the concentration camps.
First one.
Where the communists and the Social Democratic Party were still fighting each other, and the Nazi guards were laughing at them because they were still fighting each other when they were imprisoned in the death camps.
Yes, the commandant of the camp was quoted as saying, "Let them sort out their differences." Basically, they'll do the work for us.
Yeah.
Well, you did, yeah. I mean, that's leftism all over, really. The Spanish Civil War just before that, you had leftists shooting at each other in Barcelona as Franco was marching in. Like, ridiculous scenario.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So less infighting and more definitely not punching Nazis. Honest.
Yes.
Would be, I think, a positive approach to the situation. God, the coded conversations you have to have. It's almost as if this kind of fake, faux neutrality on social media is actually aiding the Nazis. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry, Kev, before we go on.
Sorry, no, you wanted to talk about the weird nationalism thing.
Yes, the weird nationalism. That could describe anything on this show. That could literally be anything we talk about.
The weird people in, I suppose, the British left who want to do leftist patriotism or something.
No, sorry, I'm talking about patriotic alternative. Sorry,
I thought you meant the progressive.
There are a lot of these weird fucking nationalists, lefty nationalists. Let's develop Right, yeah, wankers.
Yeah, let's nationalise the railways, but also fuck immigrants.
I know. Yeah, it's dumb and
yeah. No, yeah.
It doesn't work. Like we know from sort of the because all it does is give support to the right wing. Look at people like Kate Hoey who tried to kind of take Brexit, the far right form of Brexit from a left wing perspective. All they've done is ended up helping Boris Johnson into power. Like,
well, I don't know that she can even be described. I don't know why she was ever a Labour MP. She voted with the DUP almost all the time.
Yeah,
she was an embarrassment of a human. Anyway, don't get me started on Kate Hoey, for fuck's sake. We'll be here all day.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So you wanted to talk about some other thing that wasn't the thing I was thinking of. Go for it.
Yeah. So Patriotic Alternative. I'm sure Mike has got a lot to say about them. But I watched their live stream of their launch. Now, Patriotic Alternative is a group that was formed by Mark Collett and Laura Towler.
We should explain who those people are.
Of the BNP.
Yes.
Ex-BNP, avowed Hitlerite. He admires Hitler. And Laura Towler was the editor, or is the editor, of Defend Europa, which is a white supremacist blog that I still can't believe how PayPal allows to take donations. Anyway, they're both very toxic people. And,
yes, but also really quite pathetic as well, because I don't know if you saw the video that Mark Collett even put out this week about, I don't even know what company he was referring to, but a fried chip manufacturer who was apparently trying to enforce white genocide through their advertising.
Oh,
he dares to call other people snowflakes.
Mark's not the brains here, guys.
No.
I'm not saying that Laura has that many brains, but Mark's not the brains here.
But he's not the beauty either, so what the fuck is he bringing to the table? I don't know. But there we go. Anyway.
I think it's the good looks and charm, isn't it? I think.
Clearly, the wit. Absolutely. But he was, famously, when he was a youth officer for the BNP, was secretly filmed talking about killing P-words. Let's just put it that way. People of Indian/Pakistani heritage.
Yep. That's what I'm expecting.
That's the kind of garbage we're dealing with here. Anyway, tell us what these absolutely adorable scamps are up to.
Yes. They formed this new party, Patriotic Alternative, that they hope, I think, are going to be a viable political party that people can actually vote for. You know, they want to make parliamentary progress.
It's more like a think tank at the moment kind of operation.
But again, I think the word think there is a bit of an overstretch.
Yeah, but like they're trying to do things like they've been asking people
hate tank.
in the north of England how they feel about, replacement genocide, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're trying to sort of have the impression of being a well-funded, with it think tank. I mean, they refuse to talk about their sources or anything like that. When they've been, they create little documentaries. There's one called "We Were Never Asked" about the arrival of Caribbeans to England, but they don't quote their sources. It's in many ways it's a bit of a circle jerk in that they sort of aim their stuff at the choir. People have already been sort of radicalized towards their ideas, and they're sort of picking up the odd ne'er-do-well there, and sort of they're patched into a network of primarily Scandinavian and Baltic white supremacist groups, sort of swapping things from them. I mean, they were over in where was it, Copenhagen a few months ago, speaking at a conference with Millennial Woes and some of those fascist pricks. To me, the danger isn't so much that they'll become a political party that has any influence whatsoever. It's kind of like the generation identity thing for me, in that some isolated, mentally ill weirdo is going to be radicalized by them and want to start, plan some sort of horrible thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been rambling. I wanted to speak about it, so you can.
So less of a think tank, more of a septic tank.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very well said, Kev. Yeah, I find it funny that they did a video called "We Were Never Asked" about Caribbean immigration to the UK, because it's like, well, it's a bit fucking late at this point, isn't it? Like, it's just strange that they'd complain about these. But anyway, Yeah, so I've got various accounts and informants in these little groups that are forming, and one thing I found is that the New British Union, which is the New British Union of Fascists, they literally use the British Union of Fascists logo, are really quite annoyed that the patriotic alternative is stealing their style and stealing much of their audience, because there's only about 20 of them.
Laura Taylor has I don't know what's the word. Well, she's got a hard on for Oswald Mosley. Like she uses Mosley and stuff that she's created for Defend Europa. I mean, she's trying to make Oswald Mosley a thing again.
Yeah, we should point out he was the leader of the British Union of Fascists.
Yeah.
And also, interestingly, just to point out that punching Nazis is not a new thing. There's a rather wonderful image of him having been decked.
He was decked on several occasions.
Yeah. But there's one lovely photo of him sort of just as he's landing, where he looks completely shocked by the situation. So this is not a modern phenomenon, and neither should it be. You punch them in Minecraft, wherever you find them in Minecraft.
Yeah, there's a great image of Oswald Mosley walking past his supporters, who are all giving him Nazi salutes, and somebody's captioned the image with the words. It's great because of the caption. Raise your hand if you read the Daily Mail, and they're all raising their hands. It's great. But yeah,
the thing I find really interesting about them is that, like, I've come up in their chats and speeches that Laura Taylor has made quite a lot, and if I'm a thorn in their side, I believe that's actually the words that are being used, then I think they're a bit shithouse. I don't think they're much of a threat at all. You know,
but Mark, they know that you're Soros's right-hand man.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not trying to big myself up here. Rather, I'm trying to diminish myself and diminish patriotic alternative at the same time. I think almost. Let me run something by you. I sort of have been thinking about this. When Generation Identity sort of burst onto the scene in the UK, talking about them in some way and giving them attention sort of led to them achieving a little bit of giving them more credit that they were due, gave them a platform. And I think that maybe that was not such a great idea. You know, it wasn't a great idea, really. I mean, it should have been pointed out, you know, yes, they're fascists and this is what they think. But I think anything apart from that, trying to make them into more of a threat than they were, it was a bad idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we can't let's not, you know, unless they actually start fielding candidates. I think that this patriotic alternative bullshit's going to die in the ass. I don't think they're really serious.
Funnily enough, that's more or less where I'm headed, because the NBU has actually reached out to Patriotic Alternative, but the Patriotic Alternative sort of wanted to avoid contact with the New British Union for optics, because they literally use a Nazi symbol. But as Hope Not Hate kind of pointed out, Colette actually is more of a destructive force to the right wing than a help in terms of electability, or you know, even media power.
I think Jack Sen. You guys know Jack Sen, the guy that they made sleeping with the far right about.
Yeah,
like, complete joke. Like he's the biggest joke in the British far right. And when he sort of says that Colette's a liability and a complete clown, then he really is.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not the kind of person to say, this person's an asset for British intelligence or something like that. But Colette's the kind of guy that you can imagine, the intelligence services just pushing and prodding to sort of do things just to fuck things up.
They're probably MI5 are probably not that annoyed when he makes public statements. Let's put it that way. They're probably not that bothered.
Yeah.
They got bigger shit to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. They're probably interested in the people that are following him.
Yeah, I fucking hope they're watching some of those bastards.
Yes.
But Mark Collett himself is the only person Mark Collett is really a harm to is himself by, I don't know, tripping over his own fucking feet or swallowing a spoon or something.
Taylor's more of a not a threat, but she's the more connected one.
Yeah. Ralph Maslamania, who is a brown man, but he describes himself as politically he's far right of the fascists, or that's how he describes himself. He launched Patriotic Alternative, or he helped launch it. And it's really interesting. You should definitely watch the live stream if you're interested in hearing what Nazis have got to say. Because about 3 minutes in, he says the words, we rally around a simple proposition of 14 words that we must secure an existence for British people and a future for British children.
Oh, hang on. Whoa. Time out, bro.
Yes.
Why have you changed one specific word there?
Yeah, I know. And then he goes on to say about the Treaty of Westphalia and where that's where the nation states were formed.
Oh, for fuck's sake, he's going back a bit there. Jesus.
What, the Peace of Westphalia? What?
Yes. Yeah.
As in the 30 Years' War?
Yeah.
What the fuck is he on about?
Yeah, and then he said that...
how does he link the 30 years of fucking hell?
Yeah, the end of the 30 Years' War, yeah, that's where it goes back to, and then he says that the nation state...
No, we need to go back to the Council of Nicaea. That's how far back we need to go.
He says that the nation state has been eroded since the end of World War II by globalists and cultural Marxists. So to somebody in the chat said that is it just me or are British fascists not even trying to hide who they are? And I think that there's your answer.
If anything shows that they just mean Jews when they say globalists, there you go.
Yeah.
What more do you need to be said there?
Yeah.
But I like that. I like the fact that he's changed one word twice in that little phrase. That's nice. It's good that they're trying to be inclusive. Fucking hell, what a dickhead. Anyway, are we done on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, as Christy's not talked for a bit, do you want to rant on impeachment?
I don't really know that there's... Well, I guess we talked about it on the happy hour, but that's not the same as doing it on Kek. Yeah, I can. Donald Trump was impeached by the House since probably your last episode. And he... right, so the articles went through pretty much on a party line vote. There was one independent who voted and some Democrats who crossed over and voted no, and Tulsi Gabbard voted present. But there were sufficient votes, and he has been impeached. But now Mitch McConnell came out and said just blatantly that he's working hand in glove with the White House to organize the trial for an acquittal. And Nancy Pelosi, because it was the holidays were coming up, the Christmas holidays and also New Year's, Congress was going out of session and would be back, I think, like on the 6th of January. And there's nothing in the Constitution that says as soon as the articles are voted on, they have to be sent over. But nothing can happen in the Senate until they are sent over or until the House names who it's going to have manage the House side of the trial, because the House representatives basically act like prosecutors, and then the president's allowed his defense counsel. So she just said, she's just, as I mentioned to Kevin in the happy hour, she's using an extreme version of any idiot can outweight an American when it comes to negotiations in international relations or probably business, and especially with, Trump's impatience. She's held on to the articles. She's not sending them over, so the process can't start. And Trump has just been losing his stuff all over Twitter throughout the Christmas holidays. He's just having sort of a meltdown. So at the moment, there's a lot of pressure. 2 senators now, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, have both made public statements not saying they're concerned about Mitch McConnell's collusion, basically, with the White House, and that if that's not what they think should be how a fair trial should be conducted. So by holding off Nancy Pelosi, even though people on the right want to make this sound like she doesn't have the evidence or this is all collapsing, no. She's just playing the waiting game with Donald Trump, which if you wait long enough, and you have something he wants, you will win. We'll see what happens now as we come back into session. There might be some more serious conversations, and especially if some more moderate Republicans are willing to come forward and say things publicly about the need for a fair trial, that will put Mitch McConnell in a bad position, because they only need 4 Republicans to vote on a simple majority for a procedure like calling witnesses or not calling witnesses, or which witnesses to call. And so it doesn't require a 2/3 majority. It just requires 4 Republicans who are in states where they feel enough pressure to make sure there's at least a fair trial. So that's where we are with that.
Fucking women just talk, don't they? Jesus. This is what happens. You get a diversity hire in, and this is what.
And you know what you get? You get the best balanced audio on a show ever. Because when you guys have been talking, I've been balancing your audio, and
much better than my shit I put up. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But the reason I bring this up because you might think, what's it got to do with the far right? Firstly, I would argue the president of America is far right, but secondly, it connects back to the story we started talking about a second ago with the stabbing in Muncie, New York. Because afterward, Donald Trump, the now impeached president of the United States, came out and said that everyone needed to work together to stamp out the scourge of anti-Semitism in America. Now, that would be taken with a great deal more seriousness if he didn't invite people like Rick Wiles to the White House, who literally described impeachment as a Jew coup. Now, Jew coup is not, unfortunately, a new type of haiku poetry written by Hebrews, but that should definitely happen. That would be awesome.
It's much better.
He means literally it's a coup d'etat by Jewish people. So, Donald, if you want to talk about stamping out the scourge of anti-Semitism, look in the mirror. Anyway, so on that serious note, should we move on to the Kekkies, or is there any more?
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's here for, isn't it?
Yeah, so the opening part of the show, 30 minutes. 40 minutes, sorry. Yeah.
That's a tight 40 minutes there. Beautiful. Anyway, so the Kekkies are totally a serious award show and totally not a way of us just mocking the fascists from the last 12 months, honest. Where I give out real awards that actually exist, honest. Anyway, so the series of things, I'll put them out there on my social media. People voted on them, and we're gonna go through it now. Firstly, we've got the best social media banning of the year, which is always good. Unfortunately, I didn't make the list, which is slightly annoying because I lost 2 Twitter accounts this year. So what can you do? Anyway, the 4 options were: InfoWars gets re-banned from YouTube 1 day after trying to evade their initial ban, which was a fun one. The second one was Fash Garbage Bag. James also getting banned from YouTube. He's still banned. That's funny. 3 was Milo Snuffleupagus gets banned from Facebook, which is a shame because that one Facebook message he sent out with "they've cancelled my book" still makes me so shame. And Laura Loomer, this technically didn't even happen this year, but it continued throughout the entirety. Laura Loomer still being banned from Twitter and still not getting the fuck over it. So out of those 4, or indeed if you want to, people on the panel, which one do you think should win, and do you have any other favourites that I didn't mention?
You have to say names, Kevin, otherwise
I don't have to say names. No, there's 3 of you. Talk over one another. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, because it goes really well when the left tries to organise itself. Just do your own thing. No.
Exactly. Okay, Mike.
No, I ain't got nothing.
Okay. I just should have just left it then, shouldn't I? Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for. I'm voting for Laura Loomer, and that's my prediction, just for her perseverance, her utter inability to let go.
She should have won, but to be honest, I think she might be entered in this category every fucking year till now to eternity. She's running for Congress to try and get her Twitter account back.
Unless she needs a wee, in which case she won't be running for Congress.
No, she'll be running for the toilet, yeah. Anyway, InfoWars won. Yay!
Of course it did.
Of course it did, yes. Yeah. 1 day, literally 1 fucking day they lasted coming back. Oh, Alex Jones. Seriously, that is so fun. Do you know, the trial, just as an aside, the trial that he's going through being sued now for by the Sandy Hook parents, you know, it hasn't even gone to trial yet, and he spent nearly $500,000 because every time he tries to fuck something up, the court order him to pay the legal fees for both sides. So he spent $500,000.
Today was 76,000, the equivalent of £76,000. So yeah.
So yeah, exactly, because he keeps doing this. He throws
getting squeezed for everything.
Yeah, he throws up roadblocks because he knows if it goes to court, A, he's got no leg to stand on, and B, they're going to fucking clean him out. So he's thinking damage limitation. Hopefully, either they'll get frustrated and stop, or I don't know, one of us will die first. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so that's funny. He's still not on YouTube. My next one was so much fun because this list could have gone on forever. This one. The next award is the Jacob Wall Award for the most Jacob Walling of the year.
I sent a picture to the chat on Twitter, Kevin, that you want to check out. just saying.
Okay.
If you send it to me, I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I should send it to you. Sorry, I forget you're not hosting. It's all right in front of me, but I forget that you're not hosting, Kevin. Sorry.
Well, anyway, whilst you're sorting that out, because it's not like I'm trying to fucking broadcast or anything, guys. Honest.
Sorry.
So the four options, and like I say, this list could have gone on, but the four options were: 1, the false allegations of rape against Robert Mueller, which was made by a company traced back to Jacob Wall's own mother's telephone number, thus incriminating his own mother in a potential federal felony. Which in of itself, I mean, that is amazing. What a story that was. Number 2, me and Christy, I think this was our personal favourite because we had such fun with it. The driveway press conference accusing Elizabeth Warren of repeatedly having, quote unquote, incredibly violent sex with an ex-Marine male prostitute.
40 years younger than her.
40 years younger, and people will remember it for the hashtag lime green dildo.
Yes. Hashtag lime green dildo cast.
Yeah. My name is Jacob Wall, and I'm here to raise awareness of that blistering moron, Jacob. Oh, yeah. But basically, he's a walking own goal, basically.
Yes.
And his buddy who had his fly wide open.
Yeah, that's Lance Bergman, yes. Whose driveway they often can be seen speaking because that's where a professional journalist does press conferences, in a man's driveway.
If you Google not Jacob Rees-Mogg, that's not what I'm talking about. Jacob Wall. One of the first suggestions that comes up is Jacob Wall punchable face because he's been so heavily featured on the Reddit thread r/punchable face.
Well, yes. I mean, I couldn't possibly condone that. That would be terrible. Also, he's too funny. Again, it's too funny. You have to let him speak. He's too funny. Anyway, 3. God almighty, we're only halfway through. 3. Posting fake pics of himself on international trips to places like Tel Aviv and Minsk, even though he was clearly sat in his own garden. That was an amazing story. He literally made it up to try and grift money from people and then didn't go on the trips and pocketed the money. Lovely. 4, another driveway press conference where fucking Milo Yiannopoulos appeared from nowhere. I just
crashed
like the grifting fucking all-star game, apparently, where they accused Ted Cruz of being a swinger. No evidence whatsoever. Yes, so those are the 4 options. Now, there were so many other things. We didn't even get into him traveling to Minnesota and pretending to post legal documents to Ilhan Omar, which potentially is a federal crime as well. But who of those 4, any particular favourites? Who do you think would win? Who would you have voted for if you were going to vote?
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
Incredibly violent sex, just for the entertainment value.
Yeah. Guys?
I'm going to have to concur.
Okay. Well,
Cog doesn't get a vote.
Yeah.
Cog doesn't get a vote.
I don't think it matters for who I.
Are you old enough to vote yet?
I'm not sure. I've got to check. I'm sure it'll be on the government website.
Okay. Well, exactly. Have you got your ID?
My identification card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So yes, obviously number 2 won because that was just too funny. The incredibly violent sex, which was so funny because the guy they wheeled out there, obviously he was totally fake. And even if it weren't, it was consensual sex between 2 adults. Who cares? But even he laughed when he said lime green dildo. Because it's too funny. You can't not laugh at that, as if they gave him that script to read. Fucking hell. There were professional stage actors would have cracked up at that. Fucking hell. Anyway, so well done to Jacob Wall for winning that award, even though it's literally named after him. Anyway, right, next up, the UKIP Memorial Award for Best Non-Election of 2019. Because UKIP are now dead. You see the joke I did in the title? I'm so clever.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, number 1, a show favourite, Tommy Robinson, failing to get elected in the northwest of England, even though there were 8 seats up for available. It's just ridiculous. What a failure. You're a joke, Tommy. Number 2, Carl Benjamin fails to get elected in the southwest region of England, which was fucking hilarious.
For weeks on
3, yeah, indeed. 3, this one's slightly more serious, but I'll explain. Zach Goldsmith was unseated in Richmond Park, technically, in the general election, which you might be thinking to yourself, well, how is that far right? People may remember a few years ago, he ran one of the single most disgustingly racist campaigns ever when he was running for London Mayor against Sadiq Khan. Basically, Islamophobia to the max. So the fact that he got unseated, good. Fuck you. And then me and Christy, I think this is a personal favourite of ours. Richard Dick Brain loses his seat in London. And then, of course, that was added to by the fact that he then took over the leadership of UKIP,
And lost
tried to Watergate himself and failed, and was escorted from his own party headquarters by the fucking police. Brilliant. And then was basically ousted from the leadership position, and is now nothing, which is fucking brilliant. But he did definitely get Christie with the "you're an anti-white racist." So,
because I noticed white people existed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's enough, Christie.
Just commenting on the fact that somebody is white. Apparently, that's dodgy.
So who won then? Tommy, Carl, Zach, or Dick?
I reckon it's Carl. I think it's Carl. It's got to be Carl.
See, my problem here is that if whoever, they're all losers right now, and whoever I vote for, it'll help them win, maybe. Well, I guess it won't because it's already decided, but I don't want any of them to win.
Yeah, but it's the best non-election, so they're winning, losing.
Okay, all right, that's okay. Then Carl.
Okay.
Yeah, Pip.
Cog,
Dicky.
is Cog ever going to answer any of these fucking questions? Jesus.
No,
Cog.
sorry, I was completely
busy.
out of it.
Yeah, he's not
I was
even
scrolling
paying
through the
attention.
chat. I'm sorry.
What were the choices again?
what were the questions? No, I'm not. I'm
Just
not
say
going to.
Carl.
I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Although I have
No,
actually
probably-
forgotten what question I'm supposed to be answering
Zach.
now.
Probably go with Zach. As the
Oh,
best
sorry.
one.
Carl Benjamin. Sorry, I just remembered the question. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Because
Carl won.
the decimation of UKIP. Like, come on.
Like it was a one man band. It was a one man show, really.
Yeah.
And that image, the image of the fish hitting him in the face, is never ever going to stop being funny to me, and slightly awe-inspiring. Not the fucking Sistine Chapel ceiling. Like it's a beautiful work of art. Amazing.
Yeah.
Still need someone to mock up that with Kevin and my face on the fish.
I've already done one of me with my face on the fish.
Okay.
For the thing I did ages ago. I don't know. Anyway, but it was fun.
I want to see which expression you picked.
Well done to Carl. You destroyed a political party and made yourself look a fool for the world, and got investigated by the police twice in one election campaign. Well done.
It was
I don't know.
Sorry, it was when entire sections of UKIP, like their entire northwest region, were just resigning because
Over
he joined
him.
the party.
The entire board of the Gloucestershire branch of the party resigned.
Amazing.
And shut down the website, leaving a thing up saying we cannot support this person. That was in the region he was fighting in. Just saying. Amazing. So well done, Carl, you fucking twat. Anyway, this one, again, the possibilities for this, the fact that I had to whittle this down to 4 took me longer than the rest of them combined, I think. The next award is the International Community's Respect for America Memorial Award for the dumbest Trumpism of 2019. Harsh, I know, but true.
How
Anyway,
did you get them down to 4?
Exactly. I mean, ridiculous. There are so many that you've forgotten more than you can remember. That's how ridiculous he is. Anyway, the 4 I went with were, number 1, windmills cause cancer.
All right.
Amazing, literally. And it's not just that, it's not even windmills, he's talking about wind turbines. Like, he's just such a twat. Anyway, number 2, this one should have gotten more love because it was so amazing. He referred to Apple CEO Tim Cook as Tim Apple. Because he literally, the reason I love that one, he knew 2 things about the person sat next to him. He knew his first name was Tim and he had some connection to the word apple, so he called him Tim Apple. Well done, America. You've elected someone with the cognitive abilities of a 5-year-old. Anyway, number 3, even by Trump standards, one of the bizarrest fucking speeches you'll ever hear. So during the American Independence Day celebrations, he claimed that the soldiers in the American Revolution took over the airports
Yes, I remember that.
in the 1770s, a full fucking century before manned powered flight existed, and therefore airports existed. Well done, Donald. Fucking idiot. He also said that they rammed the ramparts. I don't even know what that means. Where do you even go with that as a statement? Anyway, and then this one is so telling of what Donald Trump is that even he mistook himself for a fascist. He retweeted a Twitter bot which takes Mussolini quotes and falsely attributes them to Trump himself.
Oh, wow.
That one didn't even get fucking headlines. I thought that was amazing. He literally mistook himself for fucking Mussolini. All I'll say is there's a very good picture of Mussolini. I'll leave it there. Which one of the four do we like, people? Mike. That's the order. We're going Mike, Christie, Cog. Boom.
Yeah, skip me this time because I went first last time. I got to think a bit more about this.
Okay, Christie.
What was the third one again? Was that about the airports?
Airports.
What was the middle bit?
We've got windmills, Tim Apple, airports, and Mussolini.
Yeah, I'm going airports.
Okay.
That was ridiculous. Although the Mussolini thing I get is the Kek theme, but personally I think the airports one because it was more public and ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I've got to go with airports too.
Yeah, I'm torn between windmills and airports, but I think it's going to have to be airports. Can I just point out that all of these could quite easily be Daily Mail headlines as well? Like windmills cause cancer, Tim Apple launches XYZ, immigrants are taking over airports in the 1770s.
Well, basically, with the Daily Mail, anything can cause cancer.
Yes.
So, yeah. Tim Cook causes cancer.
Yeah, or Tim Apple.
Or Tim Apple. Apples cause cancer.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tim's cause cancer.
Tim's definitely cause cancer, absolutely. Anyway, the fucking airports won. It was close, though. It was nearly a tie. Windmills cause cancer nearly got there. Which is amazing. Not just that, but he said the sound of windmills cause cancer. What? I mean, I put it this way, I don't think he's a scientist.
It's not how noise pollution works. Like, noise pollution doesn't work like that.
Or it's not how anything works. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so well done, America. You elected the slow kid.
Oh, yeah.
Basically. It's a shame, but there we go. We then have the next one, which I think we're going to like. The Tommy Robinson's Bank Account Memorial Award for the most likely to be sued by Mog Stutchbury in 2020. The four options were Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, or Ed Sheeran.
It's Twitter, so Ed Sheeran's going to have won it.
Yeah. I'm actually...
It didn't actually.
Oh, wow.
Tommy Robinson won. Ed Sheeran did get some votes, so I'm glad.
Well,
I'm glad about that.
I'm pleased in some ways that Tommy Robinson has actually won something, because that's a first for him this year.
Yeah, well done. He actually got probably more votes on my fucking Facebook account than he actually got in reality. But anyway, that's just a good excuse to say, Mike, you're suing Tommy Robinson, mate.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Do we have any dates, any news, any advancements?
No, I'll let you guys know as soon as I know.
Awesome.
So there, things we need to worry about first.
You thought things were going to be shit in 2020. They might well be. Ray of light. That's something to look forward to for everybody. Anyway, so, yes, and well done to Tommy for winning. Well done, yes. Awesome. I mean, I would give you an award, Tommy, but you don't deserve it, you garbage. Anyway, the Charlie Kirk Diaper Award for Cringe Moment of the Year is the next award. You've got, number one, the MAGA Challenge. Which was amazing. That was Trump supporters rapping.
And it's just as bad as you can imagine.
Yeah, my favourite personally being the weird, heavily depressed Willie Nelson impersonator taking a shit.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't. If you need more context than that, then you're on the wrong side.
You're gonna have to watch the show where we review those.
Number two, the entirety of the Turning Point USA conference that just happened, which was fucking mental. I don't know if you saw that, but Glenn Beck has always been a bit crazy. He seems to have really lost his marbles lately. I don't know. He's gone sort of, I don't even know, stream of consciousness Colonel Sanders is the basic gist of what he's going for at the moment. But that was hilarious. Yeah, the far right trying to make the God pill into a thing. That happened this year. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but they're trying to bring back like trad Catholic shit. But anyway, so that's number 3. And number 4, Paul Joseph Watson's entire Twitter feed for 2019. Because his Twitter feed basically consisted of him going, "This is why the terrorists hate us," over an entirely innocuous picture of nothing.
Society, full stop.
Yeah, exactly. Or some weird thing about fucking Taylor Swift's eggs. That was Stefan Molyneux. Apologies, but his Twitter feed was pretty bad.
Stefan Molyneux is an egg. Like
he is an egg. He is an egg. Anyway, so of those 4, which one would you have voted for? Are there any other cringe moments of the year you wanted to highlight?
Paul Joseph Watson was fairly cringy, but I think I'm going to go with the whole trying to bring back traditional Catholicism as a thing, because
that was pretty cringe.
It's just not working. It's just not working.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get millennials to be like, porn is really bad. Seems to be rather popular amongst the young ones. Anyway, yes, so Krista.
Concurred. Yeah, I toyed with Paul Joseph Watson, but in the end, trad Cath.
You toyed with Paul Joseph Watson?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm gonna go.
I mean, I don't usually kink shame, but that's fucking weird. Stop it. Anyway, sorry. Go on, Cog.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with MAGA challenge. Actually, I think that has to surely, in terms of cringiness. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and we did have a lot of fun. Yes. So, I mean, Christy sort of gave it away by already screen sharing the video I sent to her, but never mind.
Well,
yes, the MAGA challenge one. And I thought I mean, this guy, unfortunately, this guy's best bit, which I think Christy can, you can recite that for us, can't you?
About call my dick climate change?
Call my dick climate change. It's literally a thing this young man said and put it out there for the world. Yes. Anyway, this was seriously the most cringe thing of all time, basically. White people, please stop.
Do you want to hear it?
Yes, we do.
All right. So.
It's only, a minute long? And thank you to Vadim for putting this little clips package together. But they can't rap.
All right, so you have to stop talking because all the audio comes out of one spot and you're going to echo if you talk. So I'm going to turn this up now. All right.
Genius like Seinfeld Jerry. I don't like trans women, they be looking hairy. Stomp around, looking real scary. Bitch, I'm Lil Trump.
End of days are being fulfilled. No blood, oh no blood will be spilled. For a man to come of Persia, peace he claims unto Kershaw. So let's gather with Yehoshua, given to us by Jehovah.
Watching Fox News, sipping Kobe Faye. Oh, a mass shooting. Don't hate the NRA. Blame the mental illness, not the AK.
Mr. Trump, you know you're my hero. I just want to meet you, speak and let you know you're the best president without a doubt. My dream is to meet you in the White House.
And the last thing I'ma say before I go away is I don't mind being replaced as long as it's legal aid.
It's an entry at MAGA boy. Call me what you want, cause it don't matter, boy.
Bitch, I'm Lil Trump.
That was just a little taste of some of it.
It was a brief moment, but it was a very intense moment of cringe.
Yeah, well, a brief but intense moment is what you get with me. Is all I'll say. Anyway, enough of that. We shouldn't know. We can't be doing. This is a different show. This is not the happy hour, Kev. Stop it. Right. Anyway, right, back into presenter mode. Yes. So the next award. So yeah, well done to the MAGA challenge. Please, white people, to stop it in 2020. That's ridiculous. The most hilarious imprisonment of the year award. Tommy Robinson again. Literally, he's trying to defend his title from last year by his imprisonment for the same crime, which is amazing. You would think that would be impossible, but he's going for it. He's going for a double. Anyway, that was your first choice. The second choice, 5 of the Patriot Prayer douchebags get charged with battery felony after the Portland cider bar incident where a woman's head got fucking cracked open. So that's a thing. Number 3, Roger Stone finally gets his fucking comeuppance. Decades late, but there it is. And number 4, 2 of the Proud Boys both get 4 years apiece for the fight that was filmed in New York a couple of years ago. So those are your 4 choices. Select at will.
Well, I think I'm gonna go with Roger Stone.
Roger Stone.
That was the most satisfying to me.
Yeah.
Roger
and the word hilarious is in the title, so I mean, yeah.
Roger Stone is a good one, but I personally think Tommy Robinson going to prison twice for the same thing is more hilarious, even though he's less.
He made a lot of money out of that, though.
He did. Although, on a personal note, I do have to point out that whenever he got out of prison, he'd lost a lot of weight and had a big beard on him, and people had 2 reactions to it. They were, oh my God, look how fucking ugly and scruffy this piece of shit looks. And secondly, Kev, he looks a lot like you. So, I mean, I'll be honest, it was fun, right? It was fun seeing him kind of suffer and all the rest of it by not being able to watch Love Island, which apparently is a cruel and unusual punishment, according to Tommy's lawyers. But, also slightly an insult for me because he came out looking like shit and everyone was like, he looks like you. Thanks. Thanks, God. Anyway, so Christo.
Oh, I voted Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah, put him back in prison.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be back for next year's.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tommy, actually, because although Mike's right, he did make a lot of money off of that. I think, in a way, Mike made a lot of money out of it, or soon to be, because that will soon be Mike's money, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I can't get too pissed off about it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So that's the way it works. It's almost like you shouldn't go around like harassing people and making false allegations against them, Stephen. Anyway, the actual winner was the creepiest motherfucker with the weirdest tan ever that isn't Donald Trump, Roger Stone.
He did win.
He did. Again, it was pretty close. Tommy got a lot of votes. The 2 Proud Boys getting done was pretty high.
Probably split the Tommy vote there, kind of.
Probably split the Tommy vote, absolutely. Like people having sanity, that split the Tommy vote in reality as well, didn't it? Yeah. Yes. But anyway, well, technically he hasn't been imprisoned yet, although he was arrested, so it counts. But his sentencing will be, they're trying to push it back to March for some fucking reason. But he will be sentenced and he will definitely be going to prison. So that is very funny. So that, again, I might get away with putting him in for next year's vote as well. Who knows? Anyway, so well done to Roger. I was toying with the idea of playing that clip of him going, "Arrest me, libtards."
Oh yeah.
Just because they did.
Yeah.
They actually did. Anyway, and now we come around to the final one. Very much the Kekkie version of the Best Film Award of the Oscars or the 100 meters final of the Olympics. The Donald J. Trump's Tiny Orange Dick Memorial Award for the Arsehole of the Year. Which Trump himself is a given, okay? So he's not eligible for consideration for this award. It has to be somebody else. But if you enjoy voting for sleazy people with the surname Trump as your candidate for this, then your number 1 choice would be Donald Sleazeball Trump Jr.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 2, Richard punched his pregnant wife down the stairs, Spencer. That's a thing that was revealed this year. He's garbage. 3, Alex Gay Frogs are an inside job, Jones. Or 4, Charlie, tiniest face in the world, Kirk.
I think it's Cog's turn to go first.
See, I'm torn between the last 2. I'm torn between Kirk and Alex Jones. I think it's going to have to be Alex Jones just because of, how ridiculous he is.
Christy.
I was also, Alex Jones. He's
Jones, yeah.
Yeah, he's so evil for the world.
Such a scumbag.
Oh, you all got it. Alex Jones takes the prize for Asshole of the Year. Well done to you, sir. You fucking weird, creepy, evil little prick. I hope the Sandy Hook parents take you for every cent you will ever earn and that you die a penniless hack, which is what you deserve. Anyway, that's the end of the Kekkie Awards for 2019. I thought it went very well, by which I mean I got through it without, I don't know, libeling people, I think.
We hope.
We hope, yes. But it's on Christie's channel, so as the broadcaster,
I'm held responsible.
Send your letters of legal complaint to Cologne. Anyway, but send them in German just to fuck her up a little bit, because that would be hilarious. Anyway, yes. So, guys, what are our overriding thoughts of 2019, and what do we hope going forward into 2020? And I'll go in reverse order again. Cog.
Well, myself and Chrissy were out walking in Cologne today, and she said that I walk like I'm on fire because I walk so quickly. That I walk like somebody set me on fire, and that's pretty much how I feel about 2019 as well. I'm walking like I'm on fire and pretending that it's all okay.
And looking forward to 2020?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to 2020. I'm trying to get there as quickly as I can. Yeah, I.
That's not how time works.
Roll on midnight.
I mean, if I walk towards America, it could be.
Yeah, no, that's true. No, you need to walk the other way.
Would I?
Yeah, because it's like they're behind us in time and in progress, unfortunately.
So he needs to walk backwards?
No, he needs to walk towards like Australia. Basically. Or basically, walk eastward would be the best way of getting there quicker. Anyway, I can't believe I'm having to explain the rotation of the fucking Earth. It's ridiculous. Come on. Anyway, so Christy.
Yeah,
thoughts?
2019. Oh gosh, I mean, we had our wrap-up show for Happy Hour, and it was amazing what had happened this year that felt like it happened ages ago. I think 2019 has really brought me into a sense of not having a sense of, like, time on the internet is different from time in real life. Like, I feel like time now.
Not true. Literally
I know it's not in terms of how it's counted, but in terms of how it's experienced. I feel like there's been so much, and I am looking. Well, here's the thing: it's like I feel like we've been running a marathon since 2016, 2015 when Trump got into the race, really, and we are in the last fifth of the marathon. So if we just keep up our spirits and energies moving forward into 2020. I guess 2020 is the light at the end of my tunnel. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's Christy, come on now.
And so I am hoping that by this time next year, I will be in a much better place. I mean, not like I'm personally fine, but I hope the world is in a better place.
I suppose
Christy, your flat is lovely.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about
that. It's so spacious, you can cross it in 10 steps.
Well, I think one of my highlights of 2019 was having that discussion with you about how many steps it takes to get to the toilet.
Yes. And I lied and I said it was 9. It was actually 11 or something.
But you've only got short legs. I reckon I could do it in 2.
Probably. Just one, 2 steps and you're there.
I laugh because it's true.
You can unzip halfway through and then...
Unzip? I'm not a fucking lizard person. That's what humans do. Anyway, enough of this. To the serious journalist and shit. Mike, thoughts on 2019? What are we looking forward to in 2020?
Why do you think I'm a fucking serious journalist? I haven't written any.
You've written for newspapers and shit, and you're not a lying piece of garbage, which makes you better than most journalists. So.
Oh well, it's been a shithouse year in several significant ways for me. So I'm just hoping that next year is a bit more peaceful and. I mean, in Germany now, I'm sort of a lot more heartened by the situation and the general attitude towards the far right, and the media. The media is a lot healthier in terms of its dialogue.
I was about to say, as bad a year as you've had in certain ways, you've moved to a better country. So I mean, it hurts me to say that, but it's fucking true.
Well, yeah, it hurts me to say that too. I mean, as much as I love being here, as my wife is German, but like I've got to put roots down here, but yeah, I mean it is a better country in several ways, but yeah, I mean my heritage is English, my mother is English. It's it's where I pull some of my identity from, and it hurts that it wasn't a place that I could be happy or feel safe.
Well, yeah, you're white and Australian, so basically you're English.
No, I mean, I'm actually a British citizen, so all of these things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but looking forward to 2020, are we going to get I don't know, a fucking fascist takeover or something? I don't know.
God no.
Probably not in Germany, but in Britain, maybe.
Oh, they'll be fighting in the streets before that happens, I think.
Oh well, that's to look forward to.
Yeah. Well,
Well, exactly. It's honest, but it's also phenomenally depressing. But anyway, so yeah, have we got any New Year's resolutions? That's a typical piece of patter you end a show with. Pablum, go for it. Anyone, fucking anyone, take it away.
Well, to maybe continue on excellent sound balance. Apparently this show was very enjoyable to listen to. You guys should have me run all your shows, basically, I think is what needs to happen.
Well, no, what I'm going to do now is when I download this to re-upload it to my channel, I'm going to have to fuck with the audio to make sure it's out of sync. Otherwise, this episode is clearly going to put mine to shame. So I can't have that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But on a more serious note, well, of course, I have to find out if I've been purged. So obviously, I'll be voting. I don't know if that's a resolution. I'm doing some personal stuff, but continuing to put out content from a left perspective and critique the right and all of that stuff. I'm planning on continuing, for 2020. So I don't know if that's so much a resolution.
Did you just sneak in a 420 there?
Yes,
nice.
That's what I did.
Nice. Anyway, so Mike, what are your plans for 2020?
What could I say? Probably do a lot more writing again, get back into the fray. But apart from that, nothing I'm going to tell you guys.
Fair enough. So he's got secret Soros plans, clearly. He's not prepared.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. The learned elders of Stutchbury are going to get together and do their thing, I'm sure. Anyway, yeah, Cog, my man. You're in Germany.
Yeah.
For the new year.
I am. I'm in Germany for the new year, so I've got an extra hour this year. I've got an extra hour, and what am I going to do with the year? Probably
you've got one less hour. I've just fucking explained this to you, good man.
I don't know. It's something like that. But yeah, have I got one less hour? I've got one more hour here, but one less. I don't know.
No, you've got one less hour of the year because you've travelled forward an hour.
I suppose, yeah, and then I'm going to travel back.
No, there's no suppose about it. That's literally
you're not travelling tonight.
So your 2019 is longer than your 2020. Yeah,
I have a longer.
Because you lost an hour
my 2019 is. Oh god, I'm actually being delayed. Oh god. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Right, I don't actually. Yeah, I don't actually have any New Year's resolutions and stuff. However, something that's interesting that is coming up is I'm hoping to get my left-wing bread tube debates going, and that should be really interesting. Bringing people on not for the purpose of the usual kind of crappy internet debates. Let's just shout at each other for 20 minutes, but actually to show that debating is a skill that you develop. It's not something that proves the good or the righteousness of a statement.
That sounds actually worthwhile, which means I don't think you belong on the internet, Cog.
I know.
You're wasting yourself with this tripe, is what I will suggest. So my New Year's resolution will be to try and get you to become Prime Minister or some shit.
Kick me off the internet. You're going to kick me off the internet. Thanks, Kev. One thing I wanted to mention quickly was, because it's not technically like the usual stuff we deal with, but J.K. Rowling and Maya Hofstadter, I bring it up because I think there's some interesting comparisons with Tommy Robinson there. particularly the way that this kind of idea.
Is Mike suing Harry Potter now? What?
Quite possibly. I don't know. Let's see how it goes, Mike. But the kind of repeated assumption that a minority, in this case trans women, but in Tommy Robinson's case Muslims, are a threat to women and girls in the UK because of liberalisation and misrepresenting this community as hypersexual or perverted rapists.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Do you see the connection?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen for a long time the connections between the likes of the TERFs and far-right pods. They have very similar, very narrow worldviews, which is ironic because they consider themselves to be gender critical, and yet they're the least critical people about gender ever. Yeah. It's basically cock, man, pussy, woman, that's it.
Yeah.
Which is like the analysis of a 10-year-old. Well done. Like, it's ridiculous, yeah. So it's that very black and white thinking, and that very you're either completely on board with us or you're complete garbage type people. Yeah, they're awful. Trash.
Yeah.
It's a shame because J.K. Rowling looked like a decent human being at one point.
Yeah, she really did.
She's shown herself not to be so much.
I'm kind of... well, do you think that's a fair comparison between... Because I'm considering doing a video on this. And do you think that's a fair comparison, Mike? Do you think between Tommy Robinson and J.K. Rowling? Not J.K. Rowling, Maya Hofstad of TERFs, really.
This is not something I've given a great deal of thought to, so... Yeah, I don't want to say anything that could put my foot into it.
Fence-sitting centrist.
No, it's not a centrist. I want my money.
Oh, I see. Yes. I can see how that would be, detrimental. Okay, I won't ask you for comment then. That was just
even worse then.
You see where I'm going with that, right?
Yes, I can see that.
Trying to steal money from Tommy is a national treasure.
Yes. Yeah, perhaps something that me and Kevin can comment on. And Christy, what do you think of the comparison between Tommy Robinson and TERF, TERF ideology, in the fact that they're kind of misrepresenting a minority as hypersexual and perverted rapist sort of groups?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's when we mentioned, you kind of floated this idea to me earlier. The thing that I talked about is reactionary politics, is the framework that I think about. I mean, we talked about the fact that so-called radical feminists who want to undermine the concept of gender are so biologically essentialist in their worldview and kind of want to go back, as it were, to a time when it was okay to discriminate against trans people. And going back to reversing progress is what characterizes, to me, reactionary politics. So yeah, it's the same political goal, which is to roll back progress, and I think that's how they're linked. But in terms of the sexualization, that's a whole way of othering and degrading because of puritanical white Christian values. They're playing up to this idea of chastity and virginity and wholesomeness, and trying to say people who are darker skinned or who are not traditionally cis and heterosexual are hypersexual or sexual deviants, and to undermine and dehumanize them, and therefore justify the repression against them.
So you had to mention that they were white. So Dickie Brown knew. He saw Christy for what she is. Anyway, and on that bombshell, yes, thank you to everyone who's watched this thing during 2019.
58 people right now.
Well, thank you, yes. Hopefully we'll be back on my channel next time, because that's what hopefully will happen. Although I still don't think my channel will survive 2020 because YouTube are garbage. But yes, and thank you to my co-hosts. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully will continue to be. So thank you to Mike Stutchbury.
Thank you. You're quite welcome. Here's to 12 more fantastic episodes in 2020.
Absolutely. And the Cognitive Society.
Thank you so much for welcoming me on. It's the first year I've done this with you guys, and it's been.
Yeah, I think it was a solid thing to bring you on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a blast, and I'm looking forward to it carrying on in the new decade, which will be cool.
Indeed. And to our box ticking.
I like to think of myself as
representation.
I like to think of myself as the occasional guest star of the Let Them Eat Kek.
We think of you as positive discrimination, so we don't get sued. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, very, very welcome whenever you like.
Yeah, you guys really should have me do the sound engineering for your show from now on.
You should, absolutely. But it's not as if you've got like anything to do, so you know. I think you could spare all your time making my content less shit.
An hour and a half once a month. And then you could just bring me in occasionally and I'll say, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you guys. What were you saying?
An hour and a half once a month. That describes me very well. Thank you. Anyway, yes, so thank you to everyone. And we will see you in the new year when, unfortunately, it seems more than ever, we will need to ensure that we live up to the mantra, no pasaran.
No pasaran.
No pasaran.
No pasaran. Kevin, last words?
That's it. That's how we end off the show, Christy.
Sorry.
So this bit now is superfluous and ruins the moment, really.
Sorry, everyone. I fucked it up.
2019 on Let Them Eat Kek. Come on. You got to round it up like that. If we didn't have a crash at the end.
Can't always go perfect. All right. Bye, everyone.